Nobody believed it, but LeBron James saw that kid digging through trash would be playing in the NBA 10 years later. This story tells how the impossible became possible. It was December 23, 2012. Cleveland was experiencing one of its harshest winters in decades, with temperatures dropping to -15. LeBron James had just finished a grueling practice session with the Miami Heat, who were in town to play the Cavaliers the next day. Despite leaving Cleveland 2 years earlier in the decision, he still felt a deep connection to his hometown. After practice, instead of heading straight to the team hotel, LeBron decided to drive through his old neighborhood in Akron. He did this whenever he returned to Cleveland, a personal ritual to remind himself where he came from and how far he'd traveled. But the most shocking thing was what he discovered that would change two lives forever. As his black Escalade slowly moved through the familiar streets, LeBron's mind wandered to his own childhood. These same streets where he'd walked as a hungry kid, where his mother Gloria had struggled to keep them housed, where basketball had been his only escape from poverty. He was stopped at a red light on East Avenue when he saw something that made his blood run cold. You haven't seen the biggest surprise yet. In the dim glow of a streetlight, next to a dumpster behind a closed convenience store, LeBron saw a small figure hunched over, digging through garbage. The figure was tiny, clearly a child, wearing clothes that were far too thin for the brutal Ohio winter. LeBron's heart stopped. The scene was like looking into a mirror of his own past. Without thinking, he pulled his car over and got out. The cold air hit him like a slap, and he realized that if he was cold in his expensive winter coat, this child must be freezing. "Hey," he called out, his voice echoing in the empty street. "Hey kid." The small figure looked up, startled, ready to run. In the streetlight, LeBron could see it was a boy, probably around 9 or 10 years old. His face was dirt-streaked, his lips were blue from cold, and his eyes held a mixture of fear and defiance that LeBron recognized immediately. This is where everything changed. "I'm not going to hurt you," LeBron said, raising his hands and taking slow steps forward. "Are you okay? Are you hungry?" The boy didn't answer, just stared at this tall stranger approaching him in the middle of the night. LeBron got closer and could see the boy was clutching a half-eaten sandwich he'd found in the garbage, along with an empty soda can that might have had a few drops left. "What's your name?" LeBron asked gently. "Marcus," the boy whispered, his voice barely audible over the wind. "Marcus, I'm LeBron. How long have you been out here?" The boy shrugged. "A while." LeBron knelt down to get to Marcus's eye level. Up close, he could see the boy's clothes were not just thin, they were torn, dirty, and completely inadequate. His shoes had holes in them, and LeBron could see his toes through the gaps. "Marcus, where are your parents?" "Wait a minute. Don't miss this detail." Marcus looked away. "My mum, she's sick, really sick. We got kicked out of our apartment last month. She's at the shelter, but they said I couldn't stay because I'm too old." "Too old? You're just a kid." "They said 12 is the cutoff. I told them I was 9, but they didn't believe me." Marcus's voice was matter-of-fact, like he was discussing the weather rather than a life-altering tragedy. LeBron felt his chest tighten. This boy was living the nightmare version of his own childhood. LeBron had been poor, had been hungry, had been scared, but he'd always had his mother. This kid was completely alone. "Marcus, you can't stay out here. It's dangerous, and you'll freeze." "I'm okay," Marcus said, but his teeth were chattering so hard he could barely get the words out. LeBron made a decision that would change everything. "No, you're not okay, and I'm not leaving you here. Now what you're seeing is nothing." LeBron stood up and pulled out his phone. He called Rich Paul, his agent and longtime friend. "Rich, I need your help. I'm in Cleveland, and I found a kid who needs immediate help." "LeBron, what are you talking about? It's almost midnight." "I'm talking about a 9-year-old boy who's been living on the streets because the shelters won't take him. I need you to call every contact we have in Cleveland, social services, children's services, wherever. This kid needs help tonight." "LeBron, you can't just..." "Rich, I'm not asking, I'm telling you, this kid reminds me of me, and I'm not walking away." While Rich made calls, LeBron turned back to Marcus, who had been listening to the conversation with growing confusion. "Marcus, I'm going to help you, but first, you need to get warm and get some real food." "I don't have any money." "You don't need money. Come on." LeBron gently took Marcus's arm and led him to the Escalade. The boy's eyes widened when he saw the luxury vehicle. "Is this your car?" "Yeah, get in. Let's get you warmed up." Once Marcus was in the passenger seat with the heat blasting, LeBron drove to the nearest 24-hour McDonald's. He ordered enough food for 3 people. Burgers, chicken nuggets, fries, hot chocolate, apple pies. As Marcus ate ravenously, barely stopping to breathe, LeBron studied him more carefully. Despite the dirt and malnutrition, he could see intelligence in the boy's eyes. There was something resilient about him, something unbroken despite his circumstances. "Marcus, do you play any sports? Sometimes kids at school let me play basketball during recess, but I don't have a ball or anything. Are you good at it?" Marcus shrugged. "I guess. I'm fast." "You haven't seen the biggest surprise yet." LeBron's phone rang. It was Rich Paul. "LeBron, I've got good news and bad news. The good news is, I found a temporary placement for tonight. There's a family that does emergency foster care. The bad news is, the whole system is overloaded. Getting him into a permanent situation is going to take weeks, maybe months. What about his mother? She's at Cleveland Metropolitan Hospital. Severe pneumonia, complicated by drug addiction. She's been in and out of consciousness for 3 days. LeBron felt his heart break for this kid all over again. Rich, I want to visit his mother tomorrow. LeBron, you have a game tomorrow night. The game can wait. This can't. After Marcus finished eating, LeBron drove him to the foster family's house. The Johnsons were an older African-American couple who had been taking in emergency placements for 15 years. Mrs. Johnson answered the door in her robe, took one look at Marcus, and immediately wrapped him in a hug. "Oh baby, look at you. Come on in, let's get you a hot bath and some clean clothes." As Marcus was led inside, he looked back at LeBron with confusion and something that might have been hope. "Will I see you again?" Marcus asked. LeBron knelt down and looked Marcus in the eyes. "Marcus, I'm going to make you a promise. I will see you again, and I'm going to help you build a better life. But you don't even know me. Kid, I know you better than you think." This is where LeBron made a decision that would change both their lives. The next morning, instead of the usual game day routine, LeBron drove to Cleveland Metropolitan Hospital. He found Marcus's mother, Angela Williams, in the ICU. She was conscious but weak, connected to various machines. When LeBron introduced himself, Angela's eyes filled with tears. "You're the one who helped Marcus last night?" "Yes, ma'am. Your son is safe. He's with a good family. I'm so ashamed. I used to be a good mother. I had a job, an apartment. But when I got sick and lost my job, everything fell apart." LeBron sat down beside her bed. "Ma'am, everyone deserves a second chance. You and Marcus both. I don't know how to thank you. You don't need to thank me. But I want to ask you something. If I help Marcus, I mean really help him, with school, with opportunities, with everything he needs to succeed, would you be okay with that?" Angela looked at LeBron for a long moment. "You mean like, adopt him? Not adopt, but mentor, guide, give him chances. I never had when I was his age. But you don't know us. Why would you do that?" LeBron was quiet for a moment, then spoke from his heart. "Because 25 years ago, I was Marcus, hungry, scared, angry at the world. I got lucky. I had basketball talent and a mother who never gave up. Marcus deserves the same chance. You won't believe this, but that night, LeBron played one of the best games of his career against the Cavaliers. But his mind wasn't entirely on basketball. During timeouts, he found himself thinking about Marcus, wondering if the kid was watching the game, wondering what his future could look like. After the game, instead of going out with his teammates, LeBron returned to the Johnson house. Marcus was in the living room, watching SportsCenter highlights of LeBron's game. "Did you see me play tonight?" LeBron asked, sitting down next to him. "Yeah, you were awesome. Did you really score 35 points? "I did. Marcus, I want to talk to you about something important." "Okay, how would you feel about me helping you? Not just for a few days, but for as long as it takes." Marcus looked confused. "What do you mean?" "I mean making sure you have everything you need. School, clothes, food, a safe place to live. And if you want to play basketball, the best coaching and training available." "But why would you do that for me?" LeBron smiled. "Because I see something in you, Marcus, something special, and because everybody deserves a chance to be great." Marcus was quiet for a long time. Finally, he said, "Would I still get to see my mum?" "Of course, and we're going to help her get better too." "Wait a minute, don't miss this detail." What happened next wasn't a fairy tale transformation. It was slow, difficult work that required patience, resources, and unwavering commitment. LeBron arranged for Angela Williams to enter one of the best addiction treatment programs in Ohio. He paid for her medical care, her therapy, her housing during recovery. It took 8 months, but Angela got clean and healthy. Meanwhile, Marcus was enrolled in St. Vincent St. Mary High School, the same school LeBron had attended. LeBron covered all expenses, tuition, books, uniforms, everything, but more importantly, he was present. He attended Marcus's games, helped with homework, taught him about discipline and hard work. The basketball development was secondary, but it was extraordinary. Marcus had natural athletic ability, but more than that, he had the hunger that comes from knowing what it's like to have nothing. LeBron personally trained with Marcus twice a week during the off-season. He introduced him to the same trainers, nutritionists, and coaches who had helped develop LeBron's own skills. But the most important thing LeBron taught Marcus wasn't about basketball. "Marcus," LeBron said during one of their training sessions, "talent will get you noticed, but character will sustain you. The goal isn't just to be a good basketball player, the goal is to be a good man. Now what you're seeing is nothing." By Marcus's sophomore year of high school, college scouts were already taking notice. He was 6'3", lightning fast, with a basketball IQ that seemed to come from somewhere deep inside. But what impressed coaches most wasn't his athletic ability, it was his leadership, his work ethic, and his humility. "This kid carries himself like a professional," one scout told LeBron. "Where did that come from?" "It came from remembering where he started," LeBron replied. "Marcus's junior year, St. Vincent St. Mary won the state championship. Marcus was named Ohio's Mr. Basketball, the same award LeBron had won 20 years earlier. After the championship game, as Marcus celebrated with his teammates, LeBron pulled him aside. "Do you remember what I told you that first night? When I found you behind that dumpster, you said you'd help me build a better life. And what do you think? Have we done that?" Marcus looked around at his teammates, his coaches, his mother in the stands, clean, healthy and proud, and then back at LeBron. "Yeah, we have. But LeBron, I want to ask you something." "What's that?" "When I make it to the NBA, and I know I will, I want to do what you did for me. I want to find kids who need help." "Marcus, that's not a question, that's a promise you're making to yourself." "You're right, it is." Marcus's senior year was a culmination of everything they'd worked toward. He averaged 28 points, 8 rebounds and 10 assists per game. He led St. Vincent St. Mary to another state championship. He was named a McDonald's All-American. College recruitment was a frenzy. Every major program in the country wanted Marcus Williams. You haven't seen the biggest surprise yet, but Marcus surprised everyone with his choice. Instead of going to Duke, Kentucky, or North Carolina, he chose Ohio State, a good program, but not elite. When reporters asked why, Marcus's answer shocked the basketball world. "I'm staying close to home because I want to be an example for kids in Cleveland and Akron, that you don't have to leave everything behind to be successful. LeBron taught me that your roots matter, and I want to give back to the community that gave me a chance." LeBron was in the audience when Marcus made this announcement. For the first time in years, the cameras caught LeBron wiping away tears. At Ohio State, Marcus's development continued. He was starting point guard by the middle of his freshman year. By his sophomore year, he was being mentioned as a potential NBA lottery pick. But Marcus made another surprising decision. He stayed for his junior year. "I'm not ready yet," he told LeBron. "Not physically, not mentally. You taught me that rushing things can hurt you in the long run. Marcus, that might cost you millions of dollars. LeBron, you saved my life. Money isn't everything." Marcus's junior year at Ohio State was magical. He led the Buckeyes to the Final Four, averaging 22 points and 11 assists in the tournament. In the national semifinals, with 1.7 seconds left and Ohio State down by 2, Marcus hit a contested three-pointer to send the game to overtime. As the ball went through the net, he pointed to the crowd where LeBron was sitting, then pointed to the sky where he knew his grandmother was watching. Ohio State won that game and advanced to the championship, where they lost a heartbreaker to Villanova. But Marcus had established himself as one of the premier point guards in college basketball. After the season, Marcus declared for the NBA draft. Wait a minute, don't miss this detail. NBA draft night, June 23, 2022. Marcus Williams was projected to go anywhere from 8th to 15th overall. LeBron, Angela, and the Johnson family, who had become Marcus's second family, were all in attendance. As the draft progressed, Marcus's name hadn't been called by the 10th pick. LeBron could see him getting nervous. "Stay calm," LeBron whispered. "Everything happens for a reason." With the 12th pick in the 2022 NBA draft, the Oklahoma City Thunder selected Marcus Williams from Ohio State University. As Marcus walked to the stage to shake hands with NBA Commissioner Adam Silver, the camera cut to LeBron in the audience. He was standing, applauding, with tears streaming down his face. In his post-draft interview, Marcus was asked about the emotion of the moment. 10 years ago, I was a homeless kid digging through garbage to find food. Tonight, I'm an NBA player. That doesn't happen without LeBron James believing in me when nobody else would. But this is bigger than basketball. LeBron didn't just change my life, he showed me how to change other people's lives. That's what I plan to do with this platform. But the story was far from over. Marcus's rookie season in Oklahoma City was everything scouts had predicted. He averaged 12 points and 6 assists per game, made the all-rookie second team, and quickly became a fan favorite for his leadership and basketball IQ. But the transition to professional basketball wasn't without challenges. The speed of the game was unlike anything Marcus had experienced, even at Ohio State. There were nights when he struggled, games where he turned the ball over repeatedly, moments when he questioned whether he belonged. After a particularly difficult game against the Golden State Warriors, where Marcus had 8 turnovers and only 4 points, he called LeBron from his hotel room. "I don't know if I can do this," Marcus said, his voice heavy with frustration. "Marcus, do you remember the first time I took you to a real basketball court?" LeBron asked. "Yeah, the community center in Akron. I was terrible. You were terrible. You couldn't dribble with your left hand. You shot with the wrong form, and you had no idea how to run a play. But what did you do?" "I kept coming back." "That's right. Every day for 6 months. Even when other kids made fun of you. Even when you wanted to quit. What's different now?" Marcus thought for a moment. "Nothing, I guess. Except the stakes are higher. The stakes are always high when you're trying to improve yourself. But Marcus, you've already proven you can overcome impossible odds. A few bad games don't change that." That conversation became a turning point. The next game, Marcus played with renewed confidence, recording his first career triple-double, 15 points, 10 rebounds, and 11 assists. But what got the most attention was what he did off the court. During his first NBA All-Star break, instead of vacationing in some exotic location like most young players, Marcus returned to Cleveland. He spent a week volunteering at homeless shelters, talking to kids who were living the life he once lived. "I want them to know that someone sees them," Marcus told local reporters. "That someone believes their life can change." One of those kids was 8-year-old Jamal Thompson, who had been living in his car with his grandmother since his parents died in a house fire. Jamal was angry, defensive, and had been kicked out of 3 schools for fighting. Marcus spent hours with Jamal, sharing his own story of loss and transformation. By the end of the week, Jamal had agreed to enter a mentorship program that Marcus was developing. "Mr. Marcus," Jamal said on their last day together, "do you really think I can be like you?" "Jamal, I don't want you to be like me. I want you to be better than me, and I'm going to help you get there." This interaction inspired Marcus to use his rookie salary to establish the Second Chance Foundation, an organization focused on helping homeless youth in Cleveland, Akron, and Oklahoma City. The foundation provided temporary housing, educational support, and basketball training for kids aging out of the foster system. LeBron was the first donor to the foundation, contributing $500,000, but more importantly, he provided his expertise and connections, helping Marcus avoid the pitfalls that often plague young athletes' charitable endeavors. "Marcus learned something that took me years to understand," LeBron explained to reporters. "Giving back isn't about writing checks. It's about giving your time, your attention, and your heart." Marcus learned early that success isn't just about what you achieve, LeBron said at the foundation's launch event. "It's about what you help others achieve." By his 3rd season, Marcus had developed into one of the premier point guards in the NBA. He made his first All-Star team, averaging 18 points and 9 assists for a Thunder team that had become a playoff contender. The foundation had grown beyond Marcus's wildest dreams. They now operated in 8 cities, had helped over 400 homeless youth find stable housing, and had partnerships with major universities across the country. But success brought new challenges. The media attention was intense, and not everyone appreciated Marcus's outspoken advocacy for homeless youth. Some critics argued he was too focused on social issues and not enough on basketball. During a nationally televised interview, one reporter asked, "Marcus, some people say you're more interested in being a social activist than a basketball player. How do you respond to that?" Marcus's answer became legendary. "I respond by saying that those people don't understand what basketball gave me. Basketball didn't just give me a career, it gave me a platform, and I'm going to use that platform to help kids who are where I used to be, whether people like it or not." The interview went viral, earning Marcus both praise and criticism, but LeBron was proud of how Marcus handled the pressure. "You stayed true to yourself," LeBron told him after the interview. "That's all that matters." The criticism reached its peak during Marcus's 3rd season, when the Thunder struggled early, starting 8-15. Sports talk shows began questioning whether Marcus was distracted by his foundation work. One particularly harsh segment on ESPN featured a former NBA player saying, "Marcus Williams needs to focus on basketball and leave the charity work for the offseason. His team is losing because he's not committed to winning." That night, Marcus had perhaps the best game of his career, scoring 42 points and dishing 14 assists in a comeback victory over the Lakers. After the game, he dedicated his performance to every homeless kid who's been told they don't matter. But the moment that defined Marcus's career came during a game against the Lakers in Los Angeles. It was February 14, 2025. LeBron, now 40 years old and in what many suspected was his final season, was playing for the Lakers. Marcus was leading the young Thunder team. The game was competitive throughout, with both players putting on a show. LeBron scored 25 points, Marcus had 24 points and 12 assists. With 30 seconds left, the Thunder leading by 1, Marcus had the ball. The Lakers were pressing, trying to create a steal. As Marcus dribbled up court, he found himself matched up one-on-one against LeBron. This is where everything came full circle. For a moment, time seemed to stop. The two men who had been brought together by fate on a cold Cleveland street were now facing each other in the biggest arena in basketball. Marcus drove to the basket. LeBron stayed with him step for step. As Marcus went up for the shot, LeBron contested it, just as he would against any opponent. The shot went in. Thunder win. As the final buzzer sounded, instead of celebrating with his teammates, Marcus ran straight to LeBron. They embraced at center court, both men emotional. "I'm proud of you, kid," LeBron said. "I learned from the best," Marcus replied. The image of that embrace became iconic. The mentor and the student, the man who had saved a life and the life that had been saved, meeting as equals on the biggest stage in basketball. After the game, reporters asked LeBron about facing Marcus. "That wasn't just a basketball game," LeBron said. "That was a completion of a circle that started 13 years ago, on a street corner in Cleveland." Watching Marcus succeed isn't just satisfying, it's proof that investing in people is the most important thing you can do. Marcus was asked the same question. "Marcus, how does it feel to compete against your mentor?" "LeBron stopped being my mentor a long time ago," Marcus said. "Now he's my friend, my brother, my family. But when we're on that court, we're competitors, and I think that's exactly how he wanted it. You won't believe this, but 5 years later, Marcus Williams was named NBA Finals MVP after leading the Thunder to their first championship since 1979. The journey to that championship had been remarkable, a 7-game series against the Boston Celtics that showcased everything Marcus had learned from his mentor. In Game 7, with 47 seconds left and the Thunder trailing by 3, Marcus found himself with the ball and a choice that would define his legacy. The safe play was to drive for a layup and trust his team could get a stop. The bold play was to take the three-pointer that would tie the game. As he stood at the top of the key, Marcus could hear LeBron's voice in his head from all those training sessions. Great players make great plays in great moments. Trust your preparation. Marcus took the three-pointer. Swish. Tie game. The Thunder won 98-95, and Marcus finished with 31 points, 12 assists, and 7 rebounds. When the final buzzer sounded, he immediately looked to the stands where LeBron was sitting, tears streaming down his face. In his acceptance speech, he thanked his teammates, his coaches, his mother Angela, who was in the audience, 5 years sober and working as a counselor for the Second Chance Foundation, and LeBron James. "LeBron, I know you're watching from wherever you are," Marcus said, looking directly into the camera. "This championship belongs to you as much as it belongs to me. You saw something in a scared, hungry kid that he couldn't see in himself. You saved my life, and then you taught me how to save others." But the most meaningful moment came later that night. As the celebration continued in the Thunder locker room, Marcus stepped outside and called a number he knew by heart. "Jamal, did you watch the game?" Jamal Thompson, now 13, and thriving in the Foundation's mentorship program, was on the other end of the line. "Marcus, I can't believe you won. And that three-pointer. Jamal, I want you to remember this moment. 4 years ago, you were angry at the world, fighting everyone, convinced your life was over. Look at you now, honor roll student, starting point guard on your middle school team, leader in our youth program. Marcus, I want to be just like you. No, Jamal, I want you to be better than me, and I believe you will be." LeBron, watching from his home in Los Angeles, was surrounded by his own family. Bronny, now in his second NBA season, watched his father wipe away tears. "Dad, are you okay?" Bronny asked. "Yes, son, I'm perfect. That young man just reminded me why we play this game." "Why's that?" "Not for the trophies or the records. We play so we can lift other people up." The next day, LeBron received a text from Marcus. "Thank you for seeing me when I was invisible." LeBron's response was simple. "Thank you for proving I was right to believe." But the most beautiful part of the story came 2 months later. Marcus Williams was driving through Oklahoma City after practice when he saw something that made him pull over. A young girl, maybe 8 years old, sitting alone outside a bus station with a garbage bag that appeared to contain all her possessions. The scene immediately transported Marcus back to that cold December night in Cleveland when LeBron had found him. The fear in the girl's eyes, the defensive posture, the way she clutched her few belongings, it was like looking at a mirror of his past. Marcus parked his car and approached her carefully, remembering exactly how LeBron had approached him 13 years earlier. He knew that sudden movements or loud voices could cause her to run. "Hey there," Marcus said gently, keeping his distance. "Are you okay?" The girl looked up with the same mixture of fear and defiance that Marcus once had. Her clothes were dirty, her hair was matted, and she was clearly malnourished. "What's your name?" Marcus asked, kneeling down slowly. "Destiny," the girl whispered, her voice barely audible over the traffic noise. "Destiny, I'm Marcus. How long have you been out here?" The girl shrugged with that heartbreaking indifference that comes from having your world collapse at too young an age. "A while." Marcus felt his heart break and heal simultaneously. This was his moment, his chance to be for someone else what LeBron had been for him. "Destiny, where are your parents?" "My mama died last month. Cancer. I don't have a daddy." The matter-of-fact way she said it reminded Marcus of how he had spoken about his own trauma at that age. "Where have you been staying?" "Different places. Sometimes people let me sleep on their couch for a night or two, but they always make me leave eventually." Marcus's mind raced. He thought about calling social services, but he knew from experience how overwhelmed the system was. He thought about taking her to a shelter, but remembered his own experiences with facilities that weren't equipped to handle the complex trauma of abandoned children. Instead, he made the same choice LeBron had made 13 years earlier. "Destiny, you can't stay out here. It's not safe. I don't have anywhere else to go." Marcus smiled, remembering words that had changed his life. "Well, Destiny, I'm going to help you, but first, you need to get warm and get some real food." As he led Destiny to his car, she stopped and looked up at him suspiciously. "Why are you helping me? What do you want?" The question hit Marcus like a physical blow. This little girl had already learned to be suspicious of adults offering help, a survival mechanism that spoke to experiences no child should have. "Destiny, when I was your age, someone helped me when I had nowhere to go. He didn't want anything from me except for me to believe I could have a better life. Now I want to do the same thing for you. You were like me. I was exactly like you. Hungry, scared, alone. I thought my life was over before it really started. But you're rich now. You have a nice car." "I do, but that's not the most important thing about me. The most important thing is that someone saw me when I was invisible and believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. And now I see you." As they drove to the nearest 24-hour restaurant, Marcus called LeBron. "LeBron, it happened again." "What happened again?" "I found her. I found my Marcus." LeBron smiled on the other end of the phone. "Then you know what to do." "Yeah, I do. I'm going to do exactly what you did for me." "Marcus, that's not what I did for you. That's what you learned to do for yourself." The circle continues, and it did continue. Destiny Johnson, she took Marcus's mentor family's last name, was eventually adopted by a loving family that Marcus carefully selected. Marcus paid for her education, her training, her development, not just in basketball, but in life. 8 years later, Destiny became the first female player to win Ohio's Mr. Basketball Award, which had been renamed the Marcus Williams Excellence Award. When asked about her success, Destiny said, "Marcus Williams saved my life, just like LeBron James saved his. But they didn't just save us, they taught us how to save others. That's what real champions do." Now what you're seeing is nothing. Today, the Second Chance Foundation has helped over 3,000 homeless youth find stable housing, education, and opportunities. The organization now operates in 15 cities across the United States, with satellite programs in Canada and the United Kingdom. What started as one man's decision to stop for a homeless child has become a movement that transforms lives daily. The foundation's success rate is remarkable. 89% of the children they help graduate high school, 67% attend college, and 34% go on to professional careers in various fields. 12 of those young people have received college basketball scholarships. 3 have been drafted into professional leagues around the world. But the foundation measures success differently than most organizations. They count every child who finds stability, every family that's reunited, every young person who chooses hope over despair. LeBron James, now retired from basketball, serves as chairman emeritus of the foundation. He spends his time visiting programs, mentoring young staff members, and sharing his story with anyone who will listen. "People ask me about my greatest achievement," LeBron often says during speaking engagements. "They expect me to talk about championships or MVP awards, but my greatest achievement was seeing potential in a scared kid and having the patience to help him realize it." Marcus Williams continues to play at an all-star level while running the day-to-day operations of the foundation. He's become one of the most respected voices in professional sports, not just for his basketball excellence, but for his unwavering commitment to social justice. His partnership with various corporations has brought millions of dollars in funding to the foundation, but Marcus is careful to maintain the personal touch that makes their approach so effective. He still personally interviews every family that comes through their doors, and he knows the names of every child in their programs. Angela Williams, Marcus's mother, celebrated 8 years of sobriety and was named Employee of the Year at the foundation where she works as a family counselor. Her journey from addiction and homelessness to stability and purpose has inspired countless families facing similar struggles. "I tell every parent who comes through our doors the same thing," Angela explains. "Rock bottom can be the foundation you build your life on, but only if you're willing to do the work." The Johnson family, who took Marcus in that first night, now officially run emergency placement services for the foundation. Their home has become a safe haven for children transitioning from crisis situations to permanent placements. Mrs. Johnson, now in her 70s, continues to open her doors to children in need. "Every child deserves to feel safe," she says. "If I can provide that for even one night, it's worth it." And Destiny Johnson just committed to play basketball at Ohio State University, where she plans to major in social work. Her transformation from a frightened 8-year-old to a confident college-bound student leader exemplifies the foundation's mission. But Destiny's path wasn't easy. Like Marcus before her, she struggled with trust issues, academic challenges, and the psychological effects of early trauma. There were setbacks, moments of doubt, and times when it seemed like the cycle of poverty and abandonment might continue. The difference was the support system that surrounded her. Marcus and LeBron's investment went far beyond financial support. They provided consistency, patience, and unwavering belief in her potential. "The hardest part wasn't learning to trust others," Destiny reflects. "It was learning to trust myself. Marcus and LeBron taught me that my past doesn't define my future, but my choices do." The legacy that began with a chance encounter on a cold Cleveland street has touched thousands of lives and will continue for generations. But perhaps the most powerful part of this story isn't the success, the championships, or the money raised for charity. It's the reminder that everyone deserves to be seen, to be believed in, to be given a chance. LeBron James could have driven past that dumpster. He could have called someone else to handle the situation. He could have written a check and moved on with his life. Instead, he stopped. He stayed. He invested not just money, but time, attention, and love. And from that investment grew a tree that continues to bear fruit, continues to provide shelter, continues to offer hope to anyone who finds themselves alone and afraid. You haven't seen the biggest surprise yet, but every year on December 23rd, the anniversary of the night they met, LeBron and Marcus meet for dinner. No cameras, no media, just 2 men reflecting on the journey they've shared. This year, Marcus brought a special guest to dinner, Destiny, now 16 and being recruited by colleges across the country. "LeBron," Marcus said, "I want you to meet the future." Destiny stood up and shook LeBron's hand. "Mr. James, Marcus told me you're the one who started all this." "No," LeBron said, smiling. "I just saw what was already there. The rest was up to Marcus, and now it's up to you. I won't let you down. Destiny, you couldn't let me down if you tried. You've already succeeded by being here, by believing in yourself, by accepting help when you needed it. As they sat down to dinner, LeBron looked around the table at Marcus and Destiny, a homeless boy who became an NBA champion, and a forgotten girl who was becoming the future. You know what the best part of this story is? LeBron asked. What's that? Marcus replied. It's not a story. It's a beginning. Every time one of us helps someone else, every time we see potential where others see problems, every time we choose to stop instead of driving past, the story continues. Destiny smiled. So what happens next? LeBron and Marcus looked at each other and said simultaneously, that's up to you. Because the most beautiful truth about second chances is that they multiply. When you save one life, you're really saving all the lives that person will touch. When you believe in one dream, you're really believing in all the dreams that will follow. When you stop for one moment to help someone nobody else sees, you start a chain reaction that can change the world. That's the real secret project, not turning one homeless kid into an NBA star, but turning one act of kindness into a lifetime of kindness, turning one moment of compassion into a movement of hope, turning one decision to care into a legacy of love, and proving that sometimes the most important victories happen off the court, one life at a time.